Sorry for not looking. Hello, connection of... Oh, right, have we got a connection issue? Sorry, straight in. Well, we hope we haven't got a connection issue. Where are we, Emily?
We're outside, because it's the outside bride, and we can sit outside because it's summer. Yes!
It's summer. A couple of reasons we're outside tonight. One, we can. Two, we want to. And three, pardon me, tonight is the night before the longest day of the year, which... For those of you who are even loosely into it, is kind of, I don't know, I quite like it. I find all that sort of malarkey quite exciting, personally.
It is. It's nearly summer solstice, and as our friend Josh on here did comment, stay clear of the A303. I'm sure every man and his dog is driving up the A303 right now.
Well, interestingly, I did used to live in Andover, so which is up the road from Stonehenge, for those who know. And was always stuck in traffic jams past it. Now, side story, we're going to give it a couple of moments, see if anyone comes online. There's a book called The Feathermen by Ranulph Fiennes that is about the people who police when the police can't police. It's a long one, right? But it's an interesting book, and there's an accident here that's created within the book on a stretch of the A303 between Amesbury and Stonehenge. Never forgotten it. Emily is probably switched off already, and there we go. I highly recommended you read The Feathermen. I highly recommended you go and have a look at Stonehenge. So, I think, should we give it a couple more seconds of chitter-chatter?
Just in case of chitter-chatter, in case anyone wants to join us. Again, not even sure if anyone is seeing this right now.
Well, you know what? I'm quite happy, to be honest. Hi, Sarah.
Hi. We have
You're
someone online.
Yeah, quite happy to be on. Normally, I start doing the reminders on Monday, but Emily and I and Baylily Bell Tents, we've had which is one of our we've had a few big jobs in a row, and they're all this week. So I'm truly sorry. This is really unprofessional and unacceptable. I forgot. So whereas normally I'm well on top of everything, I even have reminders, and I think I just hit accept on it as we were just getting ready for Tuesday on Monday night.
Hi.
I love a thumbs up. We're outside, Sarah, because it's the outside bride.
Yes,
and we
why
can.
not?
Yeah,
Why
we
not,
can.
indeed?
The Wi-Fi stretches this far, more importantly. So as we have Sarah on board, we will start. We're going to start with a bit of what have we been up to this week, which I just alluded to. Emily.
So this week is our busiest week at the moment for Baylily Bell Tents. For whatever reason this year, the 23rd of June weekend, which is a great weekend, in case it's not on anyone's calendars, it is my birthday weekend, has also turned out to be the busiest weekend for events ever.
Like genuinely.
We have turned down so many weddings this weekend that we could have probably done, and I have no idea why it was such a popular weekend. And the only thing we can think of is that Glastonbury is not on this year.
Right, and I accept that. I accept the Glastonbury's not on, so people are looking for alternative things. But based on the amount of event requests and events we've seen on Facebook for this weekend, pretty much the entire population of the UK
must be at
Glastonbury each year, because it's phenomenal how busy it's been.
I don't understand why people would book their weddings on that weekend. Now, it's fantastic, and if you're getting married this weekend, congratulations, it's going to be epic.
Yeah, well, forecast is lovely.
But usually Glastonbury rains.
Yeah, I'm going to go with it's a 70% rubbish, 30% glorious.
So if you were going to hedge your bets, you wouldn't pick the 23rd and 24th of June.
We will, Sarah, thank you. She says fit some cake in, we will.
Oh, definitely. And 1, 2,
always
maybe 10 gins as well, because
yeah.
I'm not driving. But yesterday and today we had a handover today. We have a corporate booking we do every year, which was for 100 guests, which is fantastic. We all set up. There's a couple of drone pictures we put up on social media today.
Oh, I put a video on LinkedIn if anyone fancies going and watching the video on LinkedIn. We do a bit of drone footage as well, which was quite cool. You can see them all looking like, someone said they look like little ice gems because they're all different colours. They
look like little ice gems from a bird's eye view, which is quite pretty.
You could make that happen if you mowed the lawn right. Ignore that anyway.
So that's that, and then we've got a little set up tomorrow, and then Friday all of the corporate stuff comes down, and then we go and set up 2 more weddings. So it's a busy old Friday, then we'll be taking it all down on Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, very exciting. Hold on, we've got some news as well.
Yes, I know.
All right.
But yesterday's setup has actually inspired us to think about what we're going to talk about in tonight's chat. Unless you have any questions at all, we'll come back to what we're going to discuss about yesterday's setup in a second, because Alan wants to segue into other things on our list.
Ooh, segue. So I'm doing the news tonight. So a couple of things, couple of facts, figures. You know we love all this rubbish, malarkey. It's never rubbish. It's always malarkey. So our courses are the Outside Bride courses for couples getting married. We've got a group one and we got a one-on-one. The group one did not fly off the shelf. It's fair to say the group one did not fly off the shelf, but the one-on-one ticks over absolutely lovely. We've helped quite a few couples and brides and grooms get ready and get organised for their outside wedding. Outside. So all I was going to say is the course is still available. If you go onto the outsidebride.co.uk or onto the Facebook page for the Outside Bride.
If you're new to the group and you don't know what Alan's talking about, because he's not
that's
actually
a valid
explained.
point. Yeah, sorry.
If you're new to the group, we have on the Outside Bride website, there's a tab for courses, and on that is a lovely little 2-part, 2-hour slot. Is it 2 hours or 2 1 hours? I can't remember off the top of my head. That's really bad.
1 hour. 1 to 1 1 hour.
No,
Keep
not,
talking.
Not the
Just
1-to-1.
keep going.
It's 2-part introduction to planning your outdoor wedding course.
Can we do it outside every week? This is cracking.
It's tailored for you if you are organising your own event from start to finish without engaging necessarily with a wedding planner, and we take you through step to step of all the things you need to consider, from sourcing your site to electrics and power, electric power, water, how to lay out your site, the best things, tips
running
and tricks, running orders, all of that. We give you all of the knowledge you need to do that, to make sure that you have a perfectly set up, smooth running event at the end of it, and that's priced at £49. So if you're interested in booking onto that at all, you can do that by going onto the outsidebride.co.uk, and you can literally go onto the shop there and buy your spot. That's fine. That's a sales pitch done. Sorry.
Sales pitch done. The rest is stats and fab stuff. So 2 Wednesdays ago, we were rejoicing about basically hitting 4,000 on Instagram. So 2 Wednesdays later, we are 99 away from 5,000 on Instagram.
And we don't know how.
No, we know the Outside Bride's proven popular by the views on our latest blog, which our latest blog that has been live less than a week has had 606. I thought, did you just put your hand on my bottom?
No, it was a bug.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought I was getting lucky. The latest blog in less than a week's had like well over 600 views, which has blown our tiny little minds.
It was a good one this way. The Spanish Fiesta wedding was fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was really, really pretty.
Do you know my favourite part of it was the hot air balloon?
Yeah.
I absolutely loved the hot air balloon.
You want to say fantastic?
Well, I can't say it in the context of that kind of sentence, but yes, I do want to say it. Can you hear the tractor behind us? It's clearing the fields. So, if you don't know what we're talking about, go onto the website and go to the latest blog, which is the Katie and Richard Spanish Fiesta wedding. Have a look through the pictures, and they've put a make-believe imaginary hot air balloon, and it just looked brilliant. And I think the photographer used a really good filter on the photos that has helped bring. You know,
it was very warm, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really brought it to life. Not hot, it doesn't make you feel like you're in Spain, but it did feel warm and inviting and fun, and the write-up for it from the bride was also well worth a read. Last stat, so 99 from 5k on Insta, 662 views on our last blog in less than a week. Somehow we hit 9.8 thousand unique views on Pinterest, which also is blowing our tiny little mind. Like, genuinely, we had the concept for this in November, didn't we? In November, we sort of talked about it over Christmas. We got our very, very good web IT guru friend who does all our websites for us, and we said, can you knock up a website for us? We've got an idea. And he did, and it was quite simple and quick and everything else. And every day now, we need to change the website. we need to do this. And he's like, I'm designing you a new website. You know, you're getting that.
And it's going to be launched at the end of June.
Yeah.
End of June. So I'm really, really, really excited about the relaunch of it, and I hope you all would like to see it as well, because it's
Hi,
coming
Charlotte.
soon.
You're right.
Hello,
Charlotte. We're outside. Because this
Charlotte,
is the Outside
it
Bride.
seems like forever. I hope you're well. And how's your planning going? Have you done any more foraging? Let us know. I'm really excited.
Yes. Right, so after the waffly news, that's a good idea for a feature.
Waffly news.
Waffly news. I'm going to have a sip of my beer Moretti, and Emily is going to move on to tonight's topic.
Yeah, so feel free, if you do have any other questions about stuff you're doing, please do chuck them out and we'll answer them. I've used segue twice, I can't do that twice.
No. Don't worry, we're still new at this.
So yesterday was our big setup for the corporate job, and although it was a corporate job, the logistics were very... What was that?
What did you say? I'm so sorry. What did you say? The broadcast interrupted. And Karen says, "Hi, my first visit."
Oh, welcome, Karen. This is kind of standard. We babble for a little bit. Alan wears a funny shirt, and then we talk some wedding stuff, and hopefully give some tips and tricks. So if you do have a question tonight, Karen, chuck it on the comments, and we'll try and answer that for you this evening if we can. Right. So yesterday we had our event, and it was 22 tents for 100 people. And we were actually in charge of the logistics for the entire event in terms of getting our marquee set up, outdoor games set up, the caterers are coming onto site, they had also power requirements, we had all the furniture, tables and chairs and stuff. We liaised with everyone to get that set up. And it was quite a big, large-scale event really for us. And it kind of threw up a few things that would resonate well if you're planning an outdoor wedding, especially when it comes to timings for your setup day and working out exact logistics for the day before or the 2 days before when you're setting up for your wedding, because we actually went to another wedding at the weekend where we had to set up on the day of the wedding because the venue was very strict on getting brides and grooms in on the day only, and you had to pay a phenomenal amount of money, a ridiculous amount of money, to be able to get in on the Friday before your Saturday wedding to set up. And we had to get there at the crack of dawn on the Saturday, didn't we?
Yeah.
To try and put out a wedding village to then come down early doors on the Saturday, because again they had to get off by 10 a.m. We were very lucky with this job yesterday that we had a whole day to set up and hand over this morning, but there's things like that. You really need to work out your timings and understand what your venue's requirements and allowances are, because some venues will be like Saturdays where they will only let you on the day, which I don't know how any bride would ever sleep not knowing what their table's going to look like the day of their wedding.
There's quite a lot. I mean, I know a lot of indoor venues where it's what's the polite phrase we use? They have multiple back-to-back bookings.
Yes.
So, they'll have a wedding on a
conveyor belt weddings.
Conveyor belt weddings. So they do one on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, So there is a lot of, I was best man at one where we had to have cleared...
By 10 p.m, 11
p.m, cleared up, swept and everything, and out by 11, which would have been fine if I wasn't... I think the polite phrase here is off my face. So not very helpful as best man. Yeah.
But some weddings, obviously, they will allow you to have 2, 3, 4 days, and if you have an event like that, it's fantastic. And I really would strongly recommend that you really do space out your suppliers coming in and out on those few days. Think about your priorities. So one of the things that I did think about yesterday, and it was okay for us because there was a lot of space, but work out your layout first and really think about that seriously. So if you've got accommodation and got camping tents, making sure that they're on one side of the grass that has good access, you can get vehicles across, because they're things like marquees, teepees, bell tent suppliers will have a lot of weight in their vans, trailers, 4x4s, whatever they're taking. And if you're going over grass, making sure that they have a clear, hard-packed path that they can get their vehicles onto, because the worst thing in the world would be to get a trailer halfway through the field and realise you're bogged into grass because it's been raining for 6 weeks beforehand.
And that doesn't look good in pictures either, when the lorry's stuck in the back.
I do like a Baylily Bell Tents advertisement there in an event, but you really do need to think about getting those key suppliers on and off your ground in the simplest, easiest way. Be it you can go around the field if you need to, but making sure that's hard packed surface. And if the only way is to go across, what's your contingency? Are you on a farm? Do you have a local tractor?
I'll be honest, if I'm driving to a site and the entrance, basically what I'm saying is, if I think my drive across the field is going to leave tyre tracks that are going to be in the photo, I will extend my drive around the field. Yeah, so I won't cut across. So, but not everyone's going to think like that. So even if you just put a couple of bollards, cones,
getting some marker tape, you get the barrier tape type stuff, getting that and getting some shepherd's crooks.
Or a sign that says keep to the edge of the field when driving.
People don't listen to signs, so if you can mark things out beforehand, that's always fantastic. And also, when you're thinking about marking things out, be very realistic. Was that thunder?
Well, I thought it was a hot air balloon, then realised they've never ever come over here because we're near an airport.
We're outside. It may just rain.
I don't think it's going to rain. I think it was a car.
Anyway, thinking realistically about what sizes things, because when it comes to weddings and people who are quite clever, when it comes to working out what 5 metres is, people just sometimes go to pieces, don't they?
Yeah.
Marquees are bigger than you think, and the footprint of a marquee is a lot bigger than you think. And the footprint of a bell tent, for example, using it as because it's easy to think about, is bigger than you think. So I would always say it's really good to bring a tape measure or a long bit of string or whatever and try and visualise where things are before those people get there. Because we went to another wedding last year. Do you remember the one up in...
Well, we had one 2 weekends ago, actually.
But in Wiltshire.
Yeah.
They had 20 tents booked with us, and the father of the bride had no idea of what 5 metres was per tent, and had literally left us the size of a postage stamp, where she thought they were like two-man pup tents going up. And we're like, no, it's going to take up your entire field. And he had no idea, and they had to completely rearrange their logistics.
Yeah.
That was on the cricket pitch.
Yeah, we use that picture a lot, actually.
Yeah,
It's the one with the teepee and all the bell tents
all the way around the
edge.
edge.
Yeah.
So get out there and mark it out. So for instance, a bell tent, even though it's a 5 metre tent, would always need probably 7 metres to deal with ropes and guides and that kind of stuff, guides and stuff. So really visualise what that space looks like and how you want your photos to look and arrange. And same with marquees. Clear span marquees will probably have posts and pegs in the ground and not have guidelines, but if you've got a trad or a teepee or anything like that, you're going to have things coming out of that main structure, so be aware of that.
You know, that's really interesting. So when we used to do marquees, our marquee was 9 metres wide. So people used to think they only needed to give us like 9 metres, right?
Of course you don't.
But what we needed was 9 metres for the marquee, 6 metres for the catering tent, another couple of metres for the toilet block that went over here because that was behind it all, because there was a door into the back of the bar, catering, blah blah blah, and then the generator was over here. So by the time we'd finished, we actually needed about 20-30 metres wide.
And not only that, your tent supplier is coming with a lot of kit, and they're not going to want to walk it across a field. They're going to have to get their vehicles in, and if you have only left a 9 metre space for a 9 metre marquee, and you've got a hedge line and a tree line and a toilet block, for example, and that's the only space you've got, that's not going to be a workable space. So really do make sure that you're giving usable space around it, so they can get workmen round and people can leave their equipment on the side and they can use the space rather than just slot it in, because it's not like a magic.
No. But the flip side is they can probably deal with more than you realise.
Yeah.
But really, you got to make sure. And you know, the answer to everything is talking. Spray paint on grass is a good idea.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, Karen. Thank you.
And it doesn't have to be the entire height. Like, you can just do little marks as you go, because that will wash off with the rain. And it's the UK, we will have rain.
And that's it. Like when you've got these outdoor weddings now that are really popular, and they've got a kebab van, a pizza van, or an alcohol bar, bouncy castles, and whatever else. The Spanish tapas wedding had a rodeo ball. You've just got to think about where that's going and how long a cable they're going to need to get to the generator, and some actual real practical challenges.
Another one is, and that's only because I heard the kebab van as in the van, if you've got external caterers coming in just for a section of time, maybe it's just the evening caterers, or they are the daytime caterers and they're going to be going,
or your van's coming in for the evening.
Think about those vehicles coming onto site. What's their route onto site? Because the worst thing you want to happen, or not the worst thing, but one of the things that could happen.
No, there's definitely worse.
There are a lot of worse things that can happen. But
like the groom
those
not
vehicles,
that's
do you
bad.
really want them driving straight? If it's a lovely balmy evening like it is this evening, and everyone's spilled out onto the grass having a good time, having a drink, do you really want vehicles having to come in and out using that front passage to get to where they need to set up? So think about, if you've got external caterers coming in and they're in a van, caravan, whatever, giving them good access, making sure that they're not going to run over any drunken guests that might be laying on the floor, and also band setting up, make sure they can come in a slicker spot. What is going on with you?
Well, nothing.
It's not going to rain.
No, I know it's not. I'm just looking around because you were talking. I was looking around.
But the other thing, so think about the order of the suppliers that are coming onto site to set up. So your important things, yes, are your marquees, yes, are your infrastructure like the tents. They take a bulk of time. A large 9x27 marquee is going to take the best part of an entire day. You want that. If you've got a few days before the actual day, fantastic. Try and get that marquee, if you can, set up on the Thursday or the latest early Friday morning. They'll give you that time to be able to set it up and decorate it the way you want to decorate it. Because if you have them setting them on the Friday, and they do take 6, 7, 8 hours, because it could be huge, do ensure
just keep
you smiled.
Karen put there's a big black cow behind. Just keep talking.
you want that time to really personalise it and make it yourself, and you don't want to be worrying, because again, for our wedding, I had to go off at 4 or 5. We were getting married in Dorset. We live in Hampshire, and I went to go and get my nails done because I'm a girl, and then got stuck on the A31 coming in because there was traffic, and then I had to trust the boys to decorate the tables, which was fantastic. They did really, really well, but I didn't see those until the day before. So just give yourself enough time to really enjoy what you've created, because you spent a long time planning it and making it look beautiful. Things like toilets and generators, they can come later on down the line. Just ensure that if your toilets, and Alan quite rightly said, a lot of the time toilets will go behind a marquee, or so they're not pretty. Toilets are not pretty, so they go behind. So if you are not as fortunate with the size and space, whatever, just make sure that if you have got access issues, making sure that toilet block is delivered before the marquee, so you're not having to try and go around things in the gate, because they do get into funny little spaces, don't they?
And I did mention this, and if everything needs electricity, then it all needs to be able to connect into the generator. And exactly, Sarah. Basically, I put them on because the sun behind my ears made them look red, so I thought it might detract. There we go. That's how my mind works. So, if everything needs to plug into the generator, then it has to be able to reach the generator. And, basically, anything... a 50-metre cable is long.
I can't do this, it's nighttime.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why a 50-metre cable is long, so you kind of got to factor that in, because anything over 50 metres, you're going to have a couple of issues. I mean, you've got a wedding that has how many generators coming up?
Well, that's my next. Sylvia, I don't mind Sylvia saying, has got a very large site, and it's a complete weekend festival. It's going from the Friday night right through to the Monday, which sounds awesome. But they've actually decided to get 2 smaller generators in either side of the site, because it's purely logistics and simplicity. Number one, if you've got a lot of draw coming on from one generator, that's never really, really good, because you're dependent on one thing. So they've split it across 2, but also they just didn't want to have hundreds of meters of cables going back and forth to the. They've got a camping zone with showers and lighting and a weekend catering tent, and then they've got stuff further this way. So rather than having a long stretch of cable, they've got a smaller generator, barely any draw on it really, smaller generator, and then their main party generator for the band, for the marquee, for the
size of a truck then, if it's the party one.
So they've got separate. So just think about that, because actually when you price it up, sometimes there's no real difference in getting 2 slightly smaller ones than one large one that's going to power everything, and it's cleaner.
Sorry, and we've said this 1,000 times on generators. Don't bother cutting a corner, right? Just ask your marquee, TP, tent, event manager, supplier, the kind of that type of company. Can you do my generator, my distribution, and all of that sort of stuff? Because the potential extra cost will just be offset against simplicity. Trust me, if you go, no, I don't want you to do it, I'm going to look around, all of a sudden you've got a generator coming from over there, you've got your distribution from coming over there. Who are you then going to pay to put it all together? So you've just got, if your best man's a Sparky or something like that, then you're laughing. Otherwise, please just go to one company and ask them to do it all. Karen, I think happy to answer, obviously, a couple of weeks ago. We did a full-on The Power Edition. They're all in this group and on YouTube.
And we have a YouTube channel for Baylily Bell Tents, and all of the outside bride lives.
All of these are on there, but I even wrote The Power Edition. Basically, we say 40 kVA. Obviously, everyone's going to say different. 40 kVA, you can... No.
24.
Sorry, I'm absolutely sorry. We don't say 40, we say 23. 20, no, we do say 23. It's 23 kVA. Apologies. 23 kVA can be towed behind a car.
Yeah, the 40s are the bigger ones.
Yeah, 40s are the bigger ones. And for pretty much everything up to sort of 120, 130, 150 people, marquee, caterer, with a band, with some, cool lighting and everything else. If you're having that type of wedding, a 23 kVA is absolutely spot on. If you're having an extravaganza, then you're probably going to want bigger. But if you're having, that's fine.
Again, we brought this up a few weeks ago, and I think Danielle may still be watching as well. We referenced a venue in here who had a big extravaganza, and they tried to the marquee had tried to tap into the venue's electricity. really be very wary of that if you're doing so, and make sure that whoever is qualified to do that knows what they're doing.
That's why we did the power edition.
There was a bit of a nightmare a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's fine to use mains power if you have it, but just be aware sometimes, especially with manor houses, country houses, that kind of stuff, where they are older and the wiring is older, you've got a lot of stuff going in. It's taking a lot of draw from that stuff. So please don't blow up any buildings, because I'm sure your wedding insurance it would cover it, but you end up having a hefty excess with it as well.
I've got a reminder pop up on my phone. Right, there we go.
But yes.
Well, I've got a bit more on layout. If you
carry on, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things, I'm a Boy Scout through and through, and when we were like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old in Cubs and Scouts, when we were planning our scout camp, where we would used to dig like wet pits and other stuff and toilet tents, we would design the campsite and we'd have these little bits and we'd lay them out. Long story short, get yourself a piece of paper.
See that?
Well, draw the field on and start putting where everything's going to go, referencing where the power's going to go and everything. And speaking to your marquee TP event company, they should be able to help you with this. In theory, I imagine they should do it for you. They should do it for you. Don't quote me on that, because some don't, but we used to send over a suggested layout of everything where they would all be. But there's a few things to think about. So, if that's where you're driving in, that's where your view is, your main view. So then, your marquee teepee I would put over here, and then this is what I would call like the working side. Sorry, the working side. So that's the side that's going to enjoy the view. So if you're going to have a head table, hold on, you're going to have it at the back of the marquee enjoying the view. So then you would want parking somewhere over here, because that then wouldn't be in any of the pictures, and then you'd want all your other stuff behind here out the pictures. Then that leaves this entire area for photos, games, etc, etc. And then if you're going to have bell tents from Baylily Bell Tents, then obviously they go straight across the middle. No, that bit's a joke. And that's it. And then start laying them out. Your bouncy castle needs to be near the generator, which is there. Yeah, if you're having one. And you don't mind it being in the photos, so perhaps that goes there, because that's close enough to the power. Perhaps your catering vans go round here, because then they can drive in behind the marquee and get into place.
Areas.
Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Oh, ceremony areas, I didn't forget. You'd want your ceremony area, perhaps, actually, joking aside, on the Baylily Bell Tents line. But
that's a really great drawing. When you sit down.
What's wrong with that?
When you play like couples Pictionary, and you've had a couple of drinks and you're playing it at New Year's or birthdays or whatever, and you start Pictionary, and they go, look, what is it? For God's sake, what is it? It was a bit like that. I have no idea what that was.
Rosie says, ignoring you, Emily.
Hi, Rosie.
Rosie says,
hi,
Rosie. What is your best bit of advice for someone who wants to have a reception outside but thinks it might be very stressful to create a venue? Do you want to go first, or shall I go first?
You can carry on.
Right, Rosie, do you want me to be really honest? I think my best bit of advice is twofold. One is, if you think it's going to be really stressful, get someone on board to help you. And apologies if this is salesy, whether that is an hour with one of us to have a talk about it to try to help alleviate that stress, or getting a full-on event manager on board to manage your wedding, a wedding planner, then do it, because it's your special day. Fingers crossed you're only having it once, unless it's your second or third or fourth, obviously. And it's worth that level of effort to make sure it's right and stress-free for you. That's my advice.
We've always said that. I think when you're looking at your wedding budget, and again, it's not for everyone, but this is how I would, after having got married, looking at our wedding budget again, how we would piece things together and what percentage we give. Photographer number one would be our...
Never scrimp on a photographer.
Never scrimp on your photographer, because at the end of the day, and I say this week on week, everyone after the event is not going to care what your table centres were, what confetti you had on the table, really what you ate. They're going to remember the photos, because they're going to be with you for a lifetime. So make sure you get yourself...
It's technically the only thing other than memories that lasts past the day.
Yes. So apart from that, things that we would have done differently, I would have definitely have invested in an event manager.
100%.
Not necessarily a wedding planner for us, because
we would have had an on the day.
We'd have had an on the day coordination, because we did it all ourselves, and we depended on our family and friends to be those key people on the day. And hindsight, looking back, things happen on the day that we didn't know about on the day.
I had one of my ushers up to his arm
in the loo blue,
unblocking the toilets.
That's not fun for anyone. So not saying that an event planner should have to do that, but
at least they're getting paid.
They're getting paid to do that, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, But the budgets for wedding planners these days, they go from anything down from 400 quid up to thousands of pounds. Yes, if you're looking for complete and utter event solution where they are planning it for you and doing supplier sourcing and doing all of it, then that may not be for you. But there are different packages people can offer, from on the day to supplier sourcing only to kind of dream boarding, even to 6 weeks before. You've done all your planning and things, and that person comes in 6 weeks before and then pieces it all together to make sure you have a tangible plan at the end of it. I would say that's a really good option. If not, just speak to people. Everyone's been to weddings. You kind of know what the format of most weddings are. There's a ceremony, and there may be a second ceremony depending on how you're going about your ceremony. There'll be a ceremony, there'll be a drinks reception potentially, there'll be a reception where you sit down, eat, have fun, and then there'll be music and dancing at the end. It may vary depending on what you're doing, but the format is very similar. So just think about what you'd want to see at a party. Think about all the places you've been before and what things have happened, what you've liked, what you've done. It's got really cheesy.
You said balmy earlier.
Start to piece things together, things you like, things you definitely want to see on your day, things that you'd like to see happen.
And don't we call this the Sunday night planning session?
Yeah, the Sunday night planning. Have a glass of wine, sit down with your partner, really think about the key things that you would love to see on your day. What
do you want it to feel like?
Alan says this every week as well. Think about the emotion, the feeling, and what you want your day to just turn into. Ours was all about happiness, smiling, getting drunk because we're alkies, drinking on Wednesday. Hi. And having a good fun time with our families. That's all we wanted, and it was so relaxed and so low key. If you want something more formal, that's fine as well. Just do your research, really spend time really researching your key suppliers. If you get a really good team of suppliers on board, you've got nothing to worry about because they will look after you. Yesterday with our setup yesterday, we had a really good marquee supplier on board.
They were impressive actually. We know them, but we'd never worked directly with them.
We did the main liaison with them. We booked them in, and the timings were slick. We had everyone's risk assessments, and if a supplier is good, they will have their risk assessments, their public liability. They'll have good reviews on Facebook, Google, everything. Do your due diligence and just go and see them. Go and see them in situ at an event. Be it if it's a band, go and see them live at a pub. If it's a caterer, go and ask for a food tasting. And
if they're at a wedding, they're no. If you go, can I come and see you at work? And they go no, then whatever. They should be able to deal with that question. And
but I do think in hindsight, if we'd had the budget at the time.
And remember, you're the customer.
Yeah.
You're the customer.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, well, I think that's it. I think this has been really, really long. I've enjoyed it. I've loved being outside.
Yeah.
Have you all enjoyed it being outside? Can we see some thumbs up? I love that part when they all go to look across the street.
Or they've all gone and they're like...
Or they've all gone. No, we've got a few watchers.
Does anyone have any other questions for us before we sign off for this evening? Oh, there's a love. There's a love. Thank you for the heart.
Thank you.
And there's a like. Yeah, they're all coming through.
Right, we are going to go. This is for anyone who's interested. This is French lavender, not English lavender. I learnt this recently. French lavender is tall with the buds on top. And just saying, what's the theme? What's the colour tone of the season? These are our plant pots.
So, quick one. Laura Bond has put, what do you guys recommend for during the meal music? We were thinking of just hooking our music to Alexa or something similar, but too far from Wi-Fi. Thanks. Playlist.
On a phone, playlist or phone with 4G, or if you've got a band or DJ in, they should be able to help you with that. They should just be able to plug their laptop in and do that for you. We know a lot of bands who will do that for you, and DJs, but yeah, playlist on a phone, chuck it, enjoy it, sit there one night and create a playlist.
We had some really randoms on our playlist.
DJ doesn't start until 7. Okay, Laura, are they setting up early? We know some who do.
If you've got an amp, if they're setting up, bands will tend to set up or they might set up some equipment beforehand. Or if you speak to your DJ or band, they may be able to drop off an amp beforehand. A lot of companies now do that as a service that they can bolt on as well.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest speaking to them before ruling out and going down another route. I mean, if you want to hire a small PA, you can, I'm trying to think. Alexas don't have Bluetooth.
What about Wi-Fi in the country? You're the
well, there's two options. Basically, if you don't have phone signal, you're scuppered. There is no option for Wi-Fi. So if you've got phone signal on someone's phone and you've got 4G, then you either all tether to your mobile phone, or you go and get what's called like a MiFi dongle that can handle the connections a bit better. And you buy that and you top it up and you plug it in.
Or you go old school and you create a playlist that's not on a phone, not on iTunes or whatever, and you download it.
Download it on your phone.
Download it onto your phone. Download it onto your computer, or should I say, burn it onto a disc?
Yeah, Spotify does offline music, and so does Apple Music. So on Apple Music and Spotify, if you use either of them, you can do that. Otherwise, if you own the music anyway, then you can put that on your phone or iPod or other MP3
And don't forget,
player.
it doesn't need to be very loud. When you're thinking about PA systems and stuff like that, it's just background music. And if you've got 150 people talking amongst themselves and everything, it's just to have, especially...
We've got a Bluetooth speaker off of Amazon for like 18 quid or something. It's got something like a 15-hour battery life and is absolutely acceptable, isn't it? And we just use it sometimes in the garden when we're having What are discs? Yes, look. Do you know what? Our kids got bought DVDs for Christmas. I'm like, excuse me, what is this? What is this? They're like, Mummy, what's this? And we're like, we know you use Netflix, darling. It's okay.
It's a dream catcher.
Yeah, it's a dream catcher. It's to keep the wasps away. Yeah, absolutely, Laura. Karen, I hope that helps. But yeah, basically, if there's no phone signal, you haven't got anything in the countryside. So in the country. From what I hear, Vodafone's best in the countryside, but no one likes using Vodafone.
We're not endorsed by Vodafone.
No endorsements. Just I know that from all my outdoorsy stuff. I do have one, but I wasn't sure if it would be loud enough for the marquee. I think you'll be surprised. I mean, it's not going to be quality, but I think it will probably generate a bit of music in the background. And a big PA speaker won't be quality; it will just be loud.
Yeah.
But experiment with it. Try and find a park or something one day and set it up one side and walk to the others. Who's that? Jadine, our pleasure. We got loads of new names. This is fab. Jadine,
welcome to everybody.
Our pleasure. Yeah, thank you.
Have we done a proper? Did we even introduce ourselves properly today?
No, but we are like at 36 minutes, so I know we're
Anyhow,
enjoying it tonight.
Emily and Alan from the Outside Bride, husband and wife team.
Yes.
Loving what we do and loving talking to all you new people.
And you know what? I'm gonna finish. Are we finishing? I'm gonna finish with if you feel you need to do something a bit random in your life, apologies for being a bit heavy here. Get up and watch the sunrise tomorrow. Yeah. Have a nap in the day and watch it set tomorrow night. In my opinion, two of the most magical things in the world are watching the sunrise and the sunset. So why not do it on the longest day of the year? That's my thought for the day. No, we don't normally do that. That's a new thing because we're outside on the night before. Right, thanks, Laura. See you in August.
Oh, see you later. Oh, it's Laura. Laura, I'm so sorry. Yes, see you in August. August the 18th, 17th. Yeah. 18th, that weekend.
Emily knows. Laura, I apologise. Laura, Emily does all the admin and stuff.
We'll speak to you soon.
Take care, guys. Bye.